Hey there folks, watch this video, and here I'm going to be talking about some WRC news. At the Autosport International today, M-Sport Ford World Rally Team unveiled their livery for 2020, as well as unveiling their second WRC-2 competitor in the form of Rhys Yates, who will be joining Adrien Fourmaux for a WRC-2 campaign this season. And in this video I'm going to be talking briefly about those. I will show, of course, when talking about the livery, the M-Sport livery on the screen, but I do recommend if you're going to be just listening to this in the background, just going to the description below and you can find the images for yourself. And yeah, it was quite interesting. Not as much profile about the announcement of Yates as, say, the unveiling of the livery, though you also have to recognise this is the first livery to have been unveiled for the 2020 WRC, and I've got to say I love it. So we'll start off with the livery, which people are saying harks back to like the 80s. The designer apparently looked to the early 90s, so 1994, the old Escort Cosy. It reminds me a bit of how in 2014, I believe it was, they had a livery that was very much inspired by the Sierra Cosy. And for me as well, it also has elements that were from the Ford Focus WRC around the time I started watching the sport, which was 2003 to 2005. The third wave of the first generation of Focus. The one with the big spoiler, as opposed to the one with a little spoiler and the one with a tiny spoiler. Yeah, rallying's weird. What's also quite interesting, though, is that you're seeing Castrol be more prevalent again. That's probably the other thing for me that takes it back to the 2003 to 2005 era, where Castrol and British Petroleum were the main sponsors. And actually, on different cars, so for example, compare someone like Roman Cresta to someone like Tony Gardemeister in 2005, they were in the same team, but they had different liveries. One of them was a BP, one of them was a Castrol. Though, at the same time, let's talk about the WRC-2 news. And I'm going to be moving away from livery stuff because I'm not a graphic designer. All I can really say is it looks cool, it's a nice throwback, and it's cool to have that as the first one unveiled. I'm more interested in WRC-2 stuff and Rhys Yates being unveiled, alongside Adrien Fourmaux. Now, Adrien is quite a skilled driver. I saw him at World's Rally GB just gone by, and actually I remember Fourmaux because Fourmaux overtook us on the road section away from Alton Park. So seeing that bright Fiesta R5 coming past was, even in the dead of night, was pretty awesome. But yeah, it's a good campaign for both of them. Rhys Yates has been getting more and more experience in WRC2. For example, last year in Monte Carlo had Dennis Giraudet as co-driver. Now, those of you who have been following rally for a lot longer might know who Giraudet is. For those of you who don't, a very experienced co-driver, worked with drivers such as Didier Auriol for a long time. In more recent times, worked with people like Voyu, Sarrazin, Romain Dumas, but also on occasion has worked with people such as Kankkunen, Marco Allen, Armin Schwartz, Bugalski, Radstrom. It's such an impressive list, just the list of drivers that he's worked with. And that was a good experience for Yates, who ended up scoring 30 points last season in the WRC2 category. I think it's a nice young lineup for M-Sport, and M-Sport have got a habit of developing drivers. Actually, I would also put in the description below the link for the Autosport International conferences, where they talked to Rich Milner, Malcolm Wilson, as well as the drivers Esa-Pekka Lappi, Teemu Salonen and Gus Greensmith. Because M-Sport has this reputation for it, building up drivers and getting them the skills to go out and succeed. Hirvonen, Latvala, most recently people like Oit Tanak and Elfyn Evans. But they've been doing this for 20-30 years. I mean, even more, because they've been going for over 40 now. But on the big stage, as a standout team for that long, they've got to be doing something right. All I can say now is I look forward to seeing what the rest of the teams do. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.